We're going to talk about all of this, plus your chats right here on the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show, where we have expert trash talk and unrivaled analysis. But this sounds drastic, but I suppose you have to take drastic action when your head coach can't count to 11. I was almost ready to call it off. This is ridiculous.
Let's get into it. Let's talk football. That's going to make us both feel a lot better. And they've finally figured out a winning formula in the last three. Well, I mean, they've been winning the whole time. They just haven't been winning the championships that we won. I mean, Michigan was never a bad team except for maybe 2017 and 2020. Okay, this is really dumb. Why? Maybe it's not dumb. That at the end of this, the NCAA is going to have more egg on their face than Michigan is.
If you're between 19 and 23 years old and people are throwing millions of dollars at you, that's got to mess with your head.
That might be a pipe dream. That might be a pipe dream. I'm just thinking because
it might be, but it would be a lot of fun.
That would be sweet. How long has this segment gone on? Like 40 minutes?
Welcome to the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. This is how things go around here, and you know that because you've seen the show before. All 691 subscribers, by the way, thank you for that.
How many people are going to tune in for the Michigan-Ohio State game now, knowing that the loser of this game can still make the playoffs? I just heard the screams of all of my brain cells die.
We are now up to 907 subs.
Well, actually, hold up, maybe, because we're going to get to this. We'll get to this when we talk more about the spring game.
We have this tradition here that we ask all of our guests, of which you are the first. So it's not a long-standing tradition. All right, well, I do want to be respectful of time. I told Ted we do.
We're having so much fun. We're having so much fun.
It's interesting because he said that the goal of the NCAA at this point is to just not get sued anymore.
Yeah, even after these last 3 years, we still represent hard. I mean, you got to rep your team, right? You know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But the problem was that they weren't pulling in like Ohio State level recruiting classes, and this is a huge concern. But then Harbaugh goes and wins a national championship with a bunch of 3 stars, a handful of 4 stars, and then a couple of 5 stars.
And he will announce the starting QB by the end of this week. The NCAA will have 90 days to respond.
Because, yeah, I mean, Michigan really couldn't throw the ball at all because Chop Robinson's pass rush was just insane. I mean, that guy was awesome. He was everywhere, and he was giving Carson Barnhart all sorts of issues, and that's actually why Sharon Moore pivoted in-game to running 30 bajillion some odd times in a row.
Between Tom Osborne and Solich, they had like 30 years of just destroying everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
And now it's legal? I'm sorry. Was Jim Harbaugh like the biggest college football revolutionary ever?
I'll tell you this. No one willingly lives in Ohio.
Yeah.
Case in point, Garrison here. My dear friend.
No comment.
Jim Harbaugh has just introduced a brand new era of college football. These guys are nerds! And they bullied you! What were you thinking?
Kalen DeBoer, in order to keep up with Nick Saban, all DeBoer has to do is win 6 national championships in 17 years to match Nick Saban.
Thank you.
Beautiful, man.
It was very nice.
I really appreciate it.
I could tell you wrote with, from the heart.
Oh, absolutely.
It really meant something to you, and I can appreciate that.
I really appreciate you appreciating how much I appreciate this because it meant a lot to me. It was.
I appreciate that.
They have a shutout every season. That's nothing. Stop. Move on.
I'm trying to be positive here. I'm trying to give the Hawkeyes some hope.
Lecture. Judges don't give lectures. Judges
Will you just say
give
something for crying out
right.
loud? That is a bad night for Georgia, but good news for Michigan. The only team Michigan has lost to is now number 1 in the country.
All of Georgia's players are in prison.
Do you think that Notre Dame Purdue is going to be kind of like Arkansas Oklahoma State, where like nobody's trying to win in the second half?
That was awesome. Man, I wish I had half the amount of knowledge that all those guys have.
Mac, take us out.
This is the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Good night, everybody, and thanks for joining with us. Joining us. Not with us. We're already here.
A good job by J.J. McCarthy. The handoff. Alec Menace is going to throw a pick. They give it to Corum. Up back. Corum. Touchdown, Wolverine. Ruben Wilson does it again. Hill finds some daylight. He's got some speed and some blocker. Outside, turns the corner. Blake Corum down the sideline. Looking over the middle. Caught. Touchdown, Wolverine. McCarthy extends the play, now using legs. McCarthy a first down.
And here we go. Good evening, everybody. Thanks to dropping divisions. We are now talking about a possible four-way tiebreaker for the first time the Big Ten Championship started, since the Big Ten Championship started. Curt Cignetti has had so much success at Indiana. We're now wondering what it'll take for Indiana to keep him. Plus, Week 12 picks on the Pigskin Showdown. All right here on the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Expert trash talk, unrivaled analysis. I'm your host, Cliff. With me, as always, is Mac. Mac, how are you doing over there?
How do you spell Curt Cignetti's name? Curt Cignetti. Oh, C-U-R-T. Okay. I'm posting a poll asking how long if Curt Cignetti will be at Indiana next year, and the only options are going to be no.
Oh,
yeah,
that's fine.
So that's how I'm doing.
Just making that decision for him. You know what his buyout is?
No, what is it?
I don't either. I was hoping you knew. I thought, no, wait, didn't Ben say last week it was like $80 million or something? They're stuck with him for a while.
Yeah, it's not cheap, that's for sure. I don't know what it is, but it's not cheap.
Definitely, yeah. All right, let's get started on this show. We are a little short on guests today because schedules and viruses being what they are, we are working on a short team tonight, but that's okay because we have great guests on this show. As always, first up, we have... and I wanted to have some fun with this, so I'm going to do some intros here. He does more research in 5 minutes than the rest of us do all day. It is Rob Moores from Buckeyes Battle Cry. How you doing?
What's up, you guys? God bless the USA and God bless the Ohio State Buckeyes.
There we go, man. Look at this. I even have your social media stuff on a little thing here. I think. Do I have your TikTok right? Is it Buckeye Rob?
It's Buckeye Rob 13.
13. All right, I will change that. How are you doing tonight, Rob?
I'm doing great. You know, I'm in a long-term sub position now, so we'll see how that goes. I'll be in there for like 2 more weeks at tops, then it's back to, you know, going from classroom to classroom. But other than that,
sub position. Okay, you're a sub teacher. Got it.
Yeah, I'm taking a year. I'm taking a year out of the classroom. Much needed year. Yeah, definitely. But great to be on the show again.
Excellent. Glad to have you here. All right, our next guest. His focus is unbreakable. Even in the midst of world-changing events, from the Scarlet and Blue Show, we have Garrison. I don't know his last name, but here he is.
Big Daddy Gaddy. No,
Big Daddy Gaddy. Here we go, Garrison. Buckeye Gaddy on Twitter, Scarlet and Blue Show on YouTube, and shortly the Ohio State football at the Voice of College Football channel. Garrison, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. A little tired. Been driving to Muskegon for the last 2 weeks every day for work, so it's been kind of. But but otherwise, man, I'm very happy. You know, Ohio State's number 2 in the nation, and we're the best team in the nation too. At that,
yep.
So no, it's life's good.
Huh?
That was good.
Yeah, you heard Mac. You heard me. I didn't stutter.
That's so weird. I saw a number 1 next to Oregon's name. Let me double check this here. Just make sure I'm not crazy. Oh yeah, that's a 1 next to Oregon's name. Well, you know what? We don't have a way to understand head to head if Oregon or Ohio State, you know, which one's the better team. So I completely understand what you're saying.
Once already, though.
You know what?
Hey,
you know what's next to Michigan's name?
Well, you know what, Rob? I'm gonna break my rule. I have this rule. I call it Football 101. That past years have nothing to do with the current year. But I just want to ask a question. Rob, can you tell me what happened the last time Oregon was number 1 in the nation?
The last time that Oregon was #1 in the nation, they lost to the Ohio State Buckeyes in the national championship.
Dang.
Oh,
Dang. Okay. Just want to get that out there.
Wait. Are we allowed to
Obviously, that's
care
what'll
about
happen
history now?
and there, yeah.
Well,
That's
only
so
when I say
weird.
so. Only when I say so.
That's so that's exactly right, Garrison. That's exactly right.
Wait. 1 second.
Pre-show, we're having our discussion about which team is which fan base is more pompous, the Michigan Wolverines or the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah,
The
that's
jury is
Buckeye
out.
Santa. That's Buckeye Santa right there.
That is blasphemous against Father Christmas. How dare you? Everyone knows that God's a Notre Dame fan.
No, wait till I put Black Santa in the yard.
Oh, there you go.
That's great.
On a more serious note, I do want to say, as Rob started to say earlier, it is Veterans Day. I want to thank all of our veterans out there. Garrison, I know you were in the Navy, sir. Rob, did you serve?
I was thinking about it, but then I just didn't. So
Yeah. Okay. So you're in the same boat I was. I kind of chickened out myself.
Wow.
Garrison-
All right.
What?
Wait, Mac, you were in the military?
What? No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was getting to like you because he said Rob did and he did, and I thought, oh crap, Mac did.
I don't.
No.
I don't think I would have been medically cleared. And so crazy story. So, after high school, I suffered like bouts of depression for a bit. Almost had to drop out of college, and so I got a brain scan, and it turned out that I had suffered like multiple concussions in football, and I'd lost like partial function the left side of my brain, so I had to do a lot of neurofeedback for like 2 years or so.
Oh,
in order
jeez.
to- I got it back though.
Rob,
I
your
got it back.
Michigan degree just got so much more impressive.
No, that's
I'm so serious.
like no, but before the neurofeedback, B plus A- student. After that, like I was like a 4.0 student. So it's
Nice.
good, man.
I'll tell you guys. I'll tell you guys a funny. Like it's not really a military story, but it involves the military, and it's my buddy. My buddy, and he so getting out of high school, he was really, really, really upset. It was Taylor that he didn't get selected to go to the Air Force Academy. So he's sitting in a room with a bunch of us guys, and he's like, "Yeah, the Air Force Academy didn't accept me, so I'm just gonna have to go to Michigan." And we're all just looking at him like, "You jerk!"
Oh no!
Like get out of here, dude. You smart. Never mind.
Yeah. I was told I wasn't allowed to join the military. Dad, you might not know this, but I told Mom that I was thinking about it one time, and she bust out into tears.
No, I remember that.
Oh, you do? Oh, all right. Well, there you go. Yeah. So I immediately got embarrassed. Like, all right. I'm sorry. Never mind.
In your defense, you did live in Kalamazoo for 4 years, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude. Like for me, it was like kind of. I played college ball for 2 years, and then I was like, okay, this isn't for me, and I was ready to leave, and I always knew I was going to join the military. I knew I was going to join the military at some point. My family's been in the military since World War II. My great grandfather Frederick Willie, he was gunner's mate in World War II, and then I have a bunch of uncles. I have uncles that are captains in the Air Force, Chair Force. Excuse me,
Chair Force.
I got some. I got my uncle, my cousins. They were all backpackers. Excuse me, Army. So and then shout out to all you Coast Guard guys that drive Tonka toys called boats, not ships. So.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. You know what's really funny is let's see, my buddy's in the Navy. You were in the Navy, yeah?
Hoo-yah.
Okay. Yeah. Navy, I'm told, stands for never again volunteer yourself. So.
Oh, hey, you either get volunteered or voluntold. Pick one.
Voluntold. All right. Well, yeah. I guess I don't know how the Navy works, but.
But I will tell you something funny though. I remember when I was in boot camp, And I'm sure you guys have seen those caps that we wear. The black ones are kind of slender. You ever seen those?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So one day my petty officer, she goes, Gaddy. I'm like, what's up? I didn't say what's up. I said, yes, petty officer. She goes, what's your first name? I go, Garrison. Those black cats are called Garrison caps. She goes, oh, you were born to be in this mother. I was like, yep, yeah.
Well, at any rate, thank you, Garrison, for
Right.
your service. We appreciate you putting yourself on the line, as everybody in the military does, because even if you don't see combat, the threat of it is always there. So,
And go Navy, beat Army.
yes.
I kind of want an army to win all of a sudden.
Shut up, Mac.
Mac, do we have an ad read tonight?
No.
No. All right. Moving on. Our first question for the
I
night.
forgot to pull it up. Oh, wait. No, it's right here.
Mac,
It's right
get
here.
the money,
I've got
bro.
it.
What are you doing?
I've got
Are you
it.
gonna do
I've
it?
got it. That's my
Okay.
bad. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, go.
All right. Gentlemen, so, it's that time of year when you got to start thinking about buying gifts for that special someone. Generally, they're a woman, although it's 2024, so you don't know anymore. Because you haven't really for a while, to be totally honest. If you want to keep your wife from leaving you this holiday season, you need to buy her a gift from Honey & Co. Handmade Scents. Discover the perfect gift this holiday season at Honey & Co. Market. Their exquisite room sprays bring festive scents to life, creating the perfect atmosphere for you and your family to enjoy the holidays together. Choose from a range of delightful fragrances that add a special touch to every room. They make great gifts. So guys, if you're looking to keep your wife from leaving you, there you go. You can give it to your wife or your girlfriend or someone. And they got you. So shop now at honeyandcomarket.com. And I believe they're still offering 15% off your first order. So, boom.
Dude, they do catering? What?
No, you're on the wrong website.
You're on the wrong website.
Am I? Oh,
No,
crap.
yeah, no.
honeyandcomarket.com. Sell fragrances. They're actually really good.
Market?
honeyandcomarket.com.
Okay. Got
Boom.
They really are good stuff. They're fragrances.
Baby,
They smell
baby,
nice.
if you're
They're
watching
good.
this, turn this off. I'm about to buy you something for Christmas.
Sweet.
There we go. All right. We made a sale.
Wait. I'm in the show first. Sorry. All right.
All right. So while Garrison's buying stuff
While yours is doing that. Yeah.
From Honey and Co.
From Honey & Co. Buy it from Honey & Co. Keep your wife from
Co.
leaving you this holiday season.
Let's get into our first question for the evening. We're going to start doing some speculation here. Well, I guess we do speculation every week, but this is where we're going now as we get down to, we've got 3 weeks left, and it's looking an awful lot like
Indiana.
we've got a 4-way situation going on here for the Big Ten championship game. This is what they're talking about. This is how the numbers work out. So right now, Ohio State is 8-1, 7-0 in the conference. Games remaining, Northwestern, Indiana, and Michigan.
Wait, you said who?
To say they're all very winnable is an understatement.
Cliff,
There
you
you
said
go.
7-0. I'm sorry. I hate that.
7-0.
This.
Yeah.
You mean 7-1? You said Ohio State.
That's conference. They're 8-1 overall, 7-0 in the conference.
Yeah.
We're 7-0 in
No,
the
they
conference?
lost. I'm sorry. They lost to
No, just say that. I'll take whatever. Just say it.
Ohio State
Lost
is
Oregon. They're
5-1 in the conference.
Wait, no, we're 7-0.
Who does the research for this show? This is
We are
Not
7-0
you, apparently.
per Cliff. We are 7-0.
7-0.
No,
I decree it.
not. Did they vacate the Oregon win and then schedule 2 phantom wins?
Penn State, on the other hand,
This guy.
I don't even trust
What's
my
up,
numbers
Pete?
anymore. I must have looked at the wrong week or something. Penn State is also up there with games remaining. Purdue, Minnesota, and Maryland, also 3 very winnable games. Oregon is 10-0. Games remaining, Wisconsin and Washington. Indiana is 10-0. Games remaining, Ohio State and Purdue. The question is, with this current situation, so Ohio State's lost to Oregon. They have to beat Indiana. So the options are, you've got 4 teams in what this article said. I'm bringing this article from CBS Sports. You've got 4 teams in prime positions to claim a spot in the Big Ten championship game, with the very complex tiebreaker scenario possible. The tiebreaker scenario is a 4-way tie among one-loss teams and a 3-way tie for second place among one-loss teams. So head-to-head records, in case of ties, head-to-head records among the tied teams will be the first tiebreaker. College football playoff implications are that teams missing out on the Big Ten championship game could still be well positioned for the CFP, especially if their losses are to strong opponents like Ohio State, is what the article says. So Michigan, the Big Ten has 4 teams in the top 5, and again, that's Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, and Indiana. So, guys, my faulty numbers notwithstanding, the question is, who is going to that championship game? We've got a lot of scenarios going on here. It's going to seem simple in some cases, not so simple in others. Who's going? Who are we going to see in Indianapolis?
Indiana and Oregon.
So, before the season started, all right, before the season started, I predicted that in order for Ohio State to fulfill their goals, and one of them being the Big Ten championship, they were going to have to lose early on in the season because there's just too much hype with the media, too much sunshine going on where there were some dark clouds in Columbus, and their early loss happened in a heartbreaking way against Oregon in Autzen Stadium by 1 point, and Ohio State has been impressive since, especially when they traveled to Happy Valley. Ryan Day finally got his top 5 covered win. Mm-hmm. And what's impressive about this, you guys called me the research guy. I got my research right here. So what's really impressive and what's going to win them this is their balance. They're getting back to balance on offense. We've always known they have a strong passing attack, but now that they've figured it out on the offensive line, they're going to have a good running attack as well with Junkins Henderson. But the other thing is they are currently the number 2 ranked defense in the country, number 7 rush, number 8 pass defense. And this last stat right here on defense is what is going to win them games. And that is the red zone defense. They're number 4 in the country. Very impressive against Nebraska and very impressive against Penn State. And that is what won them those games against Nebraska and Penn State. Nebraska had 3 trips to the red zone, 4. They got stopped 4th and goal. They had to kick field goals, and my prediction for that game was they can't kick field goals. They got to get in the end zone, and Ohio State denied them. And Penn State, that critical last 4th and goal stop, very impressive. It was a crucial turning point in the game. I was there. I saw a lot of fans leave after that. They're like, man, if we're not we had 4 tries to get it in. We didn't do it. We're not beating the Buckeyes once again. So I think that Ohio State is going to march on to the Big Ten championship and get the revenge against Oregon. Because if we look at that Oregon game, Ohio State had not yet even close to play their best football, and they lost by 1 point after all the miscues, that injury to Simmons on his way to being an All-American, possibly a first, second round pick. It's unfortunate that his knee gave out, but I just see this new aggressiveness, this new Ohio State team ever since that loss. And Indiana, after their game against Michigan, is looking a lot more mortal, like more beatable. Like they haven't faced an elite team yet. I'm saying so. Michigan, no offense, Michigan's an average team. They have a really good defense, but I just think Indiana looks more beatable. And also, Ryan Day is making a lot of the right moves that I predicted that he should. And one of the big things I saw is he's going for it more on 4th downs and in key situations.
That's true.
He's sorry, but his balls are dropping. Remember the last time I came on the show, I said Ryan Day's balls need to drop, and you guys said
They dropped.
they dropped. I mean, against Oregon inside their own 40, won for it twice, and then Penn State. Like he understands the big situations now, and he really handled himself well during the Penn State game. And he finally has surrounded himself. Looks like the right people. So Ohio State will go on to win the Big Ten championship.
Okay, but like, here's the thing though. 35-7 against Iowa, 38-7 against Michigan State, 49-14 against Marshall is probably their worst performance of the season until Nebraska. 56-0 against Western Michigan, 52-6 against Akron. Now, the super intense rivalry with Akron aside, are any of those teams good? No. The correct answer is no. So I understand that this
are you going to hold Indiana to that same standard?
Well, you don't even know what standard I'm going for, so hold on a second.
I'm just asking.
No, hold on a second. None of those teams are any good.
Yeah.
And Ohio State blew them all out. So how is Ohio State like not playing very well until they get to Oregon, and then they lose by 1 point to Oregon? I think, in my opinion, I don't think Oregon was even playing that good of football until they hit Ohio State either.
I think that's the best you're going to see from Oregon. Dan Lanning threw the kitchen sink at that team, and they only lost by 1.
I tend to agree with that.
They've been throwing those dunk and dink passes pretty much all season until Ohio State, and then they decide they're gonna throw bombs. They just stop.
No, they haven't thrown those bombs since the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of people. And just to answer the question, I have Ohio State and Oregon there. Indiana's a good team. I'm not going to take anything from them. I love Indiana. I love everything they represent. Coming to this week, I told Bryce on our show, this as down as I've been on Michigan, and though they probably don't have the best record on that schedule against Indiana, that's the most talented team they're about to play. Michigan is. And so a lot of what how I saw our game against Indiana is about what I took away from that game specifically. I think we're going to dog walk them. And it's not because they're a bad team. They're just not built for it. At the same time, when we talk about that Oregon game, and when Rob just said about throwing the kitchen sink, ever since that game ended, they have not thrown the ball downfield. And when a lot of people keep talking about, they keep saying Ohio State's secondary got torched in that game. Davis and Igbenogson, Jordan Hancock, Ransom, and Caleb Downs together gave up 162 yards. Burke gave up 179 by himself on 8 of 8. So it's let's be honest here. We can all trash Burke. Buckeye fans have done it. I did it. He ain't playing that bad again. He's not. And so I just, when it comes to Ohio State, man, I think we're hitting our stride. I think that we've had 2 weeks in a row. I don't care who it's against because we haven't had it all year. 2 weeks in a row, we've gone over 170 yards a game. Travion Henderson just clocked in 14 a carry on a long of 29.
Ohio State has yet to break 100 yards rushing in a game. Nope, I'm sorry. Judkins did it against Western Michigan and against Marshall, but that's it.
Yeah. Guess how many carries each of them average a game?
How many?
Judkins averages 11. Trey averages about 10.
Okay, so it's pass first.
Because no, it's not even pass first. We don't need them. But we play them. We score. We get off the field. By the time of the end of the season, specifically this November, you got to run the ball in the Midwest. We all know that. Michigan fans know that. Ohio State fans know that. Quinshon Judkins before this season was averaging 18 carries a game. He had 163 carries last year and 163 his freshman year. He's not doing that. He has 7 less carries per game now. These guys are gonna be fresh. And the truth, and a lot of people don't know this, I think our third string could start for half the conference. I think James Peebles could start for a lot of teams right now. So I think he can start for you guys.
Well, yeah, maybe.
I mean, Will Howard. What I told Bryce this, and he agrees with me. One of these days, we gotta have a real conversation about why he's not in the Heisman conversation. There needs to be a real conversation about that. I mean, you have Jeremiah. I think this team is just where they need to be. Just where they need to be. And by the time the season comes to an end, there will be one. And I went full bore on Sunday. I'm gonna do it for you guys here. I'm gonna do it for you guys here too. There will be one. I'm watching a lot.
What?
There will be one. There will be one team at the end. I know
that's how it works.
and I know who it's gonna be.
It's gonna be Indiana. We all know it's gonna be Indiana. Just say it.
If Indiana, listen, dude. If I see Indiana win a national championship in my lifetime, the Lord can come take me now.
Well, then you won't see it.
Was Bob Knight coaching them? Like, no. No.
Could you imagine like Curt Cignetti throwing a chair onto the field? Just
I would love it.
Or maybe he could go full Woody and knock out a Clemson player. That'd be great.
Do you want a Bo joke or no? Are the airwaves okay for this?
Keep it PG.
No, but, like I said, but no. I think that Oregon and Ohio. I mean, Oregon's had a really easy schedule. Let's call it what it is.
Well, they played Ohio State.
Outside of that, who they played? Shut up, Cliff.
Okay, well, follow-up question then. You got something, Mac?
Yeah, look, all right, I understand that, a snowball has a better chance in hell than Indiana has of beating Ohio State, probably. But the thing is this. If you think that Dan Lanning threw the kitchen sink at Ohio State to beat them, Indiana's just going to do the same thing. Indiana has nothing to lose and everything to gain. So they're going to do anything and everything they possibly could. You say Denzel Burke gave up 179 yards by himself. Oregon put up 500 yards of offense against Ohio State in that game. So where did the other 310 yards come from? It came from everybody else. So my thing is that Indiana likes to throw the ball around too. Indiana's really, really good at it. I mean, Rourke's got 2,400 yards passing. He's got 200 yards passing. He's got 200 more yards passing, than Will Howard with one less touchdown with the same number of completions. So he's having a pretty comparable season to Will Howard. Now, if you look at their schedules, I think that it's pretty simple. I think Ohio State has the stronger strength of schedule for sure. But my thing is that Indiana's got nothing to lose. Indiana's going to do anything and everything they possibly can to win this game. And I think that Ryan Day is really good at beating who he needs to beat and losing to who he should lose to. Indiana has a chance to completely buck that standard because Indiana is now a bit of a curveball here. Indiana is Indiana, but Indiana is 10-0 and ranked number 8 in the nation. So what's going to happen is Ryan Day's poor record against top 10 teams going to come back to bite him, or is he going to beat Indiana? Because at the end of the day, Indiana is Indiana. The problem is that this is not your grandpa or your Indiana team. This is a brand new Indiana team with a coach who does not care. He will destroy you. He does not care that he's at IU. He doesn't care that IU is a basketball school. He's going to do whatever he needs to win. And they've got the roster to do it. You say Ohio State's got a deeper roster than, most of the Big Ten. That's absolutely true. The game's still only 60 minutes long. If they can strategize in a way that shortens the game, they can do it. They absolutely can do it.
They don't play like that, man.
But here's the thing, man.
Can they?
Oregon Oregon has more talent. Indiana doesn't even come close to the talent that Oregon has. Not even close. And we saw what happened when they ran into a competent defense. Michigan has a really good defense. And if Michigan had a quarterback, they would have beaten
The
Indiana.
game was over. The game was over if
Yeah,
they had a
but-
quarterback.
Yeah. So that's what they're running into with Ohio State. I get that, holding out hope that Ohio State doesn't make it. But so Curt Cignetti, if you look at his team, it's a bunch of James Madison transfers who fit his system. He'll be able to win him games. But the same thing's going to happen. So didn't James Madison play Oregon last season in the bowl game?
Hey Rob, I will say this: the rest of the guys that came through the transfer portal, those are all. Well, I do want to give Cignetti credit for this. He didn't just go into the portal and get guys with high stars or whatever. He got guys that produced at wherever they were. So everyone that plays in that team has produced at some level in D1 football. I do want to give them that credit. But your point still remains. So please continue.
So
Pretty much Liberty, by the way. Oregon played Liberty in their bowl game.
Oh, I'm trying to think who James Madison played.
They played. I was on the tip of my tongue.
I'll look it up.
Game. But what I think is going to happen, he brought in players who produce, brought in players who fit the system, but there's gonna be a talent gap. Now again, they played a team with a competent defense. Who actually, Indiana's actually really lucky that they didn't lose that game. They were trying so hard to hand Michigan the game. And if Michigan had a quarterback, they would have lost. And that's what they're running into. The number 2 ranked defense of the country in Ohio State. And Ohio State has a really competent offense. They have weapons all around. I just think there's going to be a big talent separation. Don't get me wrong, Curt Cignetti, tough as nails coach. Yeah, he'll destroy you, but that only takes you so far. It will be close, but I think talent alone, this game is going to get Ohio State the win against Indiana.
And I think I can't look past that Ohio State Nebraska game. And I understand everybody's going to be like, well, you can't take that game as indication of what's to come for Ohio State because that was a fluke. That was a fluke that Nebraska was this close to winning.
So what about Penn State?
Again, that's what I'm saying is that Ryan Day is good at beating who he should beat. And then you also have to take into consideration with Penn State the fact that James Franklin is really good at losing to people that he should win, or losing to teams that he should win.
I knew Ryan Day would not get
but
that.
But that's my problem. That's my problem with that conversation. You can't hold two coaches in the same conversation saying they don't win big games, and then when both of them have a big game and one of them actually wins the game, you then go and point to the other coach and say, well, he can't win a big game. No. He won a big game.
Had to.
Because here's the truth, and actually his record against top 10 teams is 9-8. Or Ryan Day's is. But then what's gonna happen is this: when we donkey kick Indiana, everyone's gonna come out and say, well, it's Indiana. And I know for a fact everyone's gonna do that. I know it. Rob knows it, you two know it. Everyone's gonna do that. Everyone across the country, from Big 12 country, the ACC, especially the SEC, it's Indiana. Everyone's gonna look at the polls, the people that vote on who on the college football committee. They're gonna look at Indiana's schedule, and then look back and have some hindsight, and then say maybe they weren't that good. Another thing, is it fair, Mac, if you were going to look at that Nebraska game as something to hold against us? Can I then hold against Indiana how they played against a 5-5 Michigan team?
Yes. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
But Michigan is still fighting. They've got good talent, blah, blah, blah. It's not good coaching. Coaching is not helping them right now. Coaching is why Michigan is losing games. Coaching is why Michigan lost to Indiana, in my opinion. Indiana made some mistakes, and Indiana it almost cost them. I think the difference is that Indiana comes out of that game and they say, whoa, all right, that was a close one, but we still have all of our goals ahead of us. And our last hurdle is Ohio State. And Nebraska comes in and has a close game against Ohio State. Indiana, I think, is better than Nebraska this year. Actually, did they play? I can't remember if they played or not. But I think,
Indiana
56 to 7.
Stomped them. They stomped them.
Yeah, they stomped Nebraska.
That doesn't matter to me. That doesn't matter to me, though.
Well, that's
The difference between the Penn State game is that for the Penn State game, Ohio State had figured out their offensive line problem, and we saw the difference. We really did.
Mm-hmm.
They rushed for 181 yards against a top 10 rush defense in Penn State. Now, had they had that figured out for the Nebraska game, we're talking about a whole different ball game. We are.
And people forget in that Nebraska game, people forget. And I hate to say if. Will Howard fumbled at the 1 yard line. Will Howard, it was the worst game he played all year. He also missed an open touchdown. That game could have easily been 35-10, and we're not having this conversation. It could have easily been that way. So that's why I try to stay even kill. I'm not going to take the highest of highs. I'm not going to take the lowest of lows. I'm going to take what I see consistently throughout the whole season. Will Howard's best game this year was Oregon. It was. His worst game was Nebraska. Outside of that, he has been the guys. Listen, he threw at Kansas State. He threw 60 or 61 and 59%. He's up to 74 at Ohio State.
Well, he's got a lot better receivers at Ohio State.
Well, and that's for fact, and for that exact reason was why I was confused on why a lot of fans around different fan bases, specifically Michigan, were so down on him, say he couldn't play at Ohio State. I just couldn't understand that. I don't know. No, I just think that the Nebraska game is what it is. I think that, and I want to give Indiana the same credit. I want to give them the same credit. Really good teams every year are put in positions of games where there's a team that has no business being in the game with them. They probably should lose, but they don't because they figure it out. Even Michigan over the last 3 years has had at least one of those games every year. Every year.
That's true.
So I do want to give Indiana that credit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think is a good point. I know you made that point on your Scarlet and Blue show, that it's the good teams that even in those situations still find a way to win. Indiana found a way to win. Ohio State has found a way to win. Oregon in several games has found a way to win. At this point, now that we're down to the last 3 weeks of the season, weaknesses have been exposed and all that. Let me frame the question this way. And you guys have kind of hit it already, but let's summarize it. And I want to look at this from the standpoint of Indiana because I feel like Indiana, well, I'm sure Indiana is the underdog. With Indiana being the underdog, what does Indiana have to do to win this game? We saw it against Michigan, and Mac, I think you pointed this out. I don't remember. I think it was in a conversation we had after the game that Indiana got punched in the nose and then struggled at that point. It was Michigan's chance to win that game was when they punched Indiana in the nose, and then what's his name? Rourke is the quarterback in Indiana. Suddenly was stressed, suddenly couldn't make the plays, and struggled. So the weaknesses are exposed there. So what does Indiana have to do to overcome that and have a shot against Ohio State?
Pray.
Fair enough.
I think they have to control the time of possession. They got to get that run game going. So Igbenos, and he's been flagged a lot this season. I could see them attacking him.
Yeah.
Like he's gotten a lot of penalties. I can see them attacking him. I can see them continuing to attack Burke. You know, I guarantee you they're already during these next 2 weeks, they're going to be relooking the tape, and Ohio State has a lot of tape out there where it shows their weaknesses. And you better believe that Cignetti is going to be attacking that. And maybe, seeing Donovan Jackson move out to that left tackle position, he has to account for dropping back into for blocking for the pass, and so he looked a little weak on that, a little slow. So it's going to be a transition for him to be able to do that, and so I can see them trying to exploit that. But again, time possession and attacking the very few weaknesses on Ohio State's defense and being able to actually convert. They can't settle for field goals. Finding ways to get when they're in the red zone, punch it into the end zone. So
I think they got to empty the bag. I think so. Look, I've been high on Indiana, mostly because it generates clicks, but also because it would just make my life if Indiana beat Ohio State and punched their ticket to the Big Ten championship game. That would be just amazing. Indy Nation, I see the comment that defense wins championships, and IU defense got it done against Michigan. I would love to agree with you. Michigan's offense sucks.
Number 2 rush defense in the nation, though.
Number 2 rush defense in the nation. So that's good. I would like to say that if they could bottle up Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, then maybe that gives Indiana a chance. The thing is, though, is that Will Howard's going to be throwing the ball around, and so Indiana's defense is going to have to embrace the bend don't break type mentality. And so for me, it's if Ohio State goes up early, like a 7-0 or a 10-0 kind of a thing, and is slinging the ball around to get there, is Indiana going to take a deep breath and be like, whoa, okay, that was weird, but let's just calm down for a second here and see what we can do? Or are they going to start to panic? Curt Cignetti does not feel like a panic type coach to me. He feels like somebody who's going to tell his players, calm the heck down. We're still very much in this. That being said, if Indiana gets the first score on the board, what if? But that, maybe that just upsets Ohio State and they start stomping on them. I don't know. For me, though, I think they've got to get pressure on Will Howard. They've got to force a couple of turnovers. I would say if they can get 2 or 3 turnovers out of Ohio State's offense, that's a lot. That is a lot. But if they can do that, then, that would also give them a chance. But I also think that they have to be just stupid creative on offense. They have to empty the bag. They've got to throw everything in the kitchen sink at Ohio State's defense. And that means getting the ball out of Rourke's hands pretty quickly, because Ohio State's defensive line is not going to let him stay in the pocket for too long. That pocket is going to collapse. They're going to get pressure on Rourke, and Rourke is going to need to make quick decisions under pressure. So maybe that means some wide receiver screens. Maybe that means just screens in general. I don't know. But maybe it means some reverses and all that too, or stretching the field out. But they've got to get the ball out of Rourke's hands and fast. And they're not going to be able to play just running the ball up the middle or a conventional run game either. They've got to freak out Ohio State's secondary and get them to back away from the line of scrimmage and open things up. But in order to do that, they're going to need to take a couple of shots downfield, possibly using like a flea flicker type of thing. So for me, I think it still comes down to they're just going to need to throw everything that they've got at Ohio State. And I think that they can do it. I think that they've got the talent to be able to shock Ohio State. I really do. I think that it's a tall order for sure. I don't expect it to happen, but if there were an upset and it happened that particular week, I would expect it to be Indiana over Ohio State.
Yeah. Well, by the way, Mag, I thought you brought some great points in that. I think that for IU to win this game, they have to play their best game and hope Ohio State plays a B game.
Yeah.
Because even if Ohio State plays a B game, that doesn't mean you're still going to win the game.
Right.
There were a lot of things that Michigan showed in that second. Because when you play better teams with more talent, things are going to get exposed. And usually you prefer that to happen during the beginning of the season, like Ohio State with Oregon and things of that nature.
Yeah.
What I saw from Michigan, and I think it's safe to say here that Michigan doesn't have a better secondary than Ohio State. I saw someone drop the question about Ohio State's and Michigan's defensive line. I think that's a great conversation to have. Indiana's best chance of winning this game is going down deep and hoping that something gets called that doesn't get called in the Big Ten, and that's pass interferences down the field. and if you can't do that, if you can't attack Ohio State deep, and mind you, that's hoping that Ransom and Caleb Downs don't make plays on you.
Yeah.
People forget Ohio State does have the best. We do have the best safety in college football playing football right now, and arguably the best defensive player. Arguably.
Which one, Downs or Ransom?
Downs.
Okay, yeah.
So
honestly, I think there's an argument for both of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been telling people if Ransom gets hurt usually every year. This is the most healthy he's been in his career at Ohio State.
Yeah,
and he's been an elite player until he gets hurt. So it's really nice to see him this healthy. But I mean, and as much as even though Aben Nelson plays corner like a linebacker, and even though Trey Burke decides to lose his mind sometimes, they're still one of the better corners in college football. And then defensively, how do you want it? Like Tupac has a song, "How do you want it? How does it feel?" Like where do you,
hey now?
Yeah, but sorry, but I just don't. Eventually, the chickens come home to roost. Ask Miami. Like at the end of the day, this is still, and I've said this plenty of times on this show, it's a Jimmy and Joe sport. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of the stars at Indiana, and I don't mean to look past Northwestern. I might be at the game Wrigley Field. My gosh, that's cool. But then again, I might boycott it because Big Noon Kickoff is Hitler to Ohio State football. But there's just no way. When most of your starters would be third stringers at Ohio State, I refuse to think that you can win this game. And this isn't Urban Meyer. Even though this is a really good Indiana team, this isn't Urban Meyer's Ohio State. If you're not an elite team, Ryan Day is not losing to you. There's not. I mean, maybe the 2020 is that 2022 or 2020.
I thought that Ohio State fans wanted Urban Meyer back.
Not this one.
It was the 2022 game after Michigan planted the flag that fans were yelling, "We want Urban."
Yeah.
I've had the point, like for some odd reason, a lot of Michigan fans, even my own co-host Bryce, can understand this, and some Ohio State fans can understand this. So I'll be quick about this. Where the program was going after the national championship year in 2014-15 was not on a good pace. It was not.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about getting a hammer over your head by Purdue and a hammer over your head by Iowa. The year after you won the national championship, you lost to Michigan State and ruined a chance to go back-to-back simply because you were foolish. And instead of trying to give Ezekiel the ball more than 13, 14 times, you tried to give JT Barrett a Heisman. Let's not all forget 31-0 to Clemson. That happened on Urban Meyer's watch.
That's true. It did.
I was on
I loved it.
I was on my ship on duty watching that game. I know exactly how it went. I could name every single play that happened in that game. Where the program was going was not good. Even though Ryan Day has not won a championship yet, mind you, this was his first head coaching job ever. Not the same for Urban Meyer. The program is in a better position than it was the last few years of Urban Meyer, and that's a fact. If Ryan Day is not the coach at Ohio State, Tate Martell is the quarterback in 2019. That's a fact. So okay. I just
That's a scary thought too.
Oh my God! Oh, that's a scary thought, dude. And he's still the GOAT. Urban Meyer's the greatest Big Ten coach of all time. But
what?
He's the greatest Big Ten coach of all time. Who challenged?
No.
Name someone who challenges that.
You can't say Jim Harbaugh.
It ain't Bo. It ain't Woody.
Okay.
Who else?
I mean, I would have said all three of those before I said Urban Meyer.
Well, Bo doesn't have a national championship and sucks in bowl games. Woody,
yeah,
I'm sorry, Woody, you lost a 10-year war. That's enough for me to say no to you.
Suck it.
Woody, suck it. That's crazy. Sorry, Cliff. And then
I think we better take down that family-friendly thing that we've got.
So if it's not Bo and Woody, who else would you name over Urban?
What's the criteria? Well, I mean, like we talked about last week, like Paterno won
championships,
over 500 games. Championships?
Yeah, championships.
Right.
I would say record versus your rival. Clearly, he's undefeated.
What about Jim Tressel though?
Yeah, my first thought wasn't Jim Harbaugh, to be totally honest with you. My first thought was Woody Hayes. But then, yeah, I just skipped over Jim Tressel. Jim Tressel was incredible at Ohio State. And then
this is pulling on heartstrings. Hold on. That's pulling on a heartstring.
I mean, sorry.
I want to. All right. Shoot.
I mean, this is a whole nother question from how does Indiana beat Ohio State?
Yeah. Wait. Well, I already listen. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told the Notre Dame fans for the last 2 years prior to this year. Bring gallons of holy water and hope it works. Outside of that, I can't help you. Send 10 Hail Marys and bring holy water. If you don't have that, Indiana.
All right. Speaking of Indiana,
sure.
Let's go to the next question because I think this rolls into that pretty well. We've hit on some of this, but I want to dig into this some more. What will Indiana need to do to keep Cignetti? So we already know Cignetti has done miracles at Indiana. Athlon Sports broke down his contract, and his bonuses earned. He's got $600,000 in bonuses this season for the team's performance, $250,000 bonus for getting Indiana into the top 6 of the Big Ten. Just the Big Ten, not nationally, just the Big Ten. $250,000 bonus after week 11 for securing a spot within the top 6 teams of the Big Ten. An automatic 1-year contract extension with a $250,000 raise, making the additional contract year worth $5.1 million. The extension adds at least $3.3 million in guaranteed value to his deal, which now runs through November 2030. Additional incentives, $250,000 retention bonus for each year he is retained, $150,000 bonus for every 6-win season. All he has to do is win 6 games.
That's wild.
Jeez.
This is like the opposite of James Franklin's contract. $200,000 bonus for each bowl appearance, plus $50,000 for each bowl win, $50,000 bonus if named Big Ten Coach of the Year.
Wait, there was nothing in there about winning the Big Ten in the playoffs.
Nope.
Oh, he's going.
No, there is.
This is a pretty low bar.
There is. No, there is. The top Big Ten finishes $250,000 for a top 6 finish.
Top 6.
Hold up. $500,000 for second place, and then $1 million for a Big Ten championship. College.
Oh, I didn't have that in here. Okay.
Additional bonuses for reaching and winning the playoffs.
He's backing the Brinks truck up.
They already did.
Yeah, they're already doing quite a bit for him. They really want him to stay, but I don't think they had any clue when they made this contract. They didn't have any clue that he was going to go above and beyond everything they put in that contract.
Well, except for the Big Ten championship.
Well, I mean, that's what you get for hiring from the Nick Saban tree.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
another reason why they'll beat Ohio State.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Indiana loses to Ohio State. They miss out on the Big Ten championship. They still make it to the playoffs. Let's say they get to round 2 quarterfinals. At that point, Cignetti has taken an heretofore insignificant Indiana team and put them on the national stage in a massive way. What does Indiana have to do to make sure he doesn't get snatched up immediately January 6th?
They have the hope. I think they have the hope, and I know a lot of Michigan fans are hoping that Michigan gives a call. By the way, I'm going to take the credit on starting that. I'm going to take the credit on that. I'm the one who asked.
No.
Wait, I asked, and we can pull the tweet up. Would you take Cignetti over Sharon Moore next year if the agent called? That's all I asked. But SEC schools.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah. SEC schools are going to call him. They're going to call him. And they have a history of paying for the buyout. So, man.
Well, they can afford to, yeah.
I don't know what Indiana has to do. I think it's a great institution. I call it the most beautiful campus in the United States. I don't know what to say, man. It's really cool to see a program like Indiana to get a coach like Cignetti. It really is, especially in this time we live in. Cignetti reminds me of like a early 2000s, 1990s, 80s type of coach. If you're Indiana, you almost wish you had him back then, because then he probably would have been here for the last 15, 20 years. But and who knows? He's 63 years old, so who knows what he really wants, you know? And but doggone it, he has to be the biggest ticket in college football, isn't he? He has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Rob.
I mean, he's doing at Indiana what I think everybody expected Matt Rule to do at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Now, and in 2 years, I think Matt Rule hasn't really moved the needle yet at Nebraska. And when he was at Baylor and Temple, I think even by year 2, he was having winning seasons. By year 4, he was getting to the championship. Cignetti now seems to be doing that at Indiana. Matt Rule is struggling at Nebraska. But Rob, go ahead. What were you going to say?
So, and probably going to get some hate from some Indiana fans. I see Indiana being another step to get to a way bigger market than Indiana is, in terms of, maybe I'm wrong about this, but NIL, a destination place for top players. I mean, right when I saw that, so Julian Lewis was predicted to flip to Indiana, and now he's predicted to flip from USC to Colorado. And that just tells me that maybe Indiana doesn't have the right resources to get these top players. So I could see a lot of teams throwing a bigger bag at Cignetti. I guarantee you. So actually, no, I saw a comment in there about Florida. Florida is staying with Napier. His buyout is he's locked in for like 3 more years. His buyout is way too big. I forgot what it was, but the AD just said he's staying for pretty much 3 more years. So he's locked in. I could see FSU trying to make a call after they get rid of Norvell. Another team I could see, I'm pretty sure it's goodbye time for Lincoln Riley. So USC could come knocking for Cignetti. A lot of the great coaches, even Urban Meyer, there's a lot of stepping stones to get to, Florida, then Ohio State. I mean, start off at Bowling Green, then was, position coaches, then Utah. It's not a bad school. And then he got to Florida. So I could see Cignetti on the move after this season. I don't think there's going to be enough to keep him there.
But there's not going to be enough to keep say that again. There's not going to be enough to keep who where?
Cignetti.
They've got money
at IU.
They got money at IU.
Yeah, they do actually have a little bit of money at IU. I don't think either way. I mean, yeah, I don't think he's going to Florida or Florida State. I don't know what's going on with Mike Norvell at Florida State this year. They're an enigma wrapped in a mystery wrapped in an enigma. That makes no sense to me.
That was good.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I looked it up real quick though. Billy Napier's buyout at Florida right now is $28.3 million. Yeah.
It's how much?
28.3 million. That's a lot, right? Like that is significant.
Yeah, so he's locked in.
Yeah.
Definitely locked in.
But so Indiana, so I didn't think about this. I think Garrison, you mentioned this, that Curt Cignetti is already in his mid 60s, that his wife likes Bloomington, apparently, which Bloomington's a nice town. My wife is from there. It's a very, very nice town. Yeah, Mr. Bucknuts, thank you so much for subbing. Appreciate that. So I think that Indiana actually has a chance at making him probably stay for quite some time, because given the fact that, you know, his age might be at play here and they might be looking to just, you know, settle down, and Bloomington's a nice place to do that kind of thing. So if they can offer him a decent package, something that says, you know, like, we really want you to stay here and you wouldn't have to move again, but also we'll make sure that you're paid your worth. Maybe he stays at Indiana and turns Indiana into a, you know, a middle tier Big Ten powerhouse. I mean, why not? Why not? If he can he recruited well at James Madison, clearly. I mean, if
By the way,
all of those players came over from James Madison, why not?
Yeah. By the way, I saw someone commented Penn State would beat Indiana. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
No,
because James Franklin would coach him out of that game.
I think Indiana's the third best team in the Big Ten.
Yeah. I think they're the second best team in the Big Ten.
I know you do, Mac. I know you do.
So, Mac, what will you say when Ohio State beats Indiana?
It's Indiana.
Oh, shut up.
No,
just
what
like
I will
you said, just like you said, oh, it's Penn State. That Penn State has 16, just like the rest of a lot of fans of opposing college football teams have said about Ryan Days when it gets Penn State. You know, it's kind of like it's kind of like last season, you know, when Jim Harbaugh got sidelined and Michigan won their game. Like, oh, it's just Penn State. Oh, it's just Maryland, and then just there's a lot of reminds me of like what happened in Michigan last season. I think the same results. You know, Ohio State is just gonna keep winning.
I mean, Ohio State probably will keep winning. I mean, you know, but I'm not going to say, oh, it's just Indiana. I didn't think last year when Michigan beat Penn State, like, I wasn't all like, oh, well, it was just Penn State. I thought Penn State was good. They had the nation's best run defense, and Michigan beat them by running the ball. I think I'm not going to say like, oh, when Ohio State beats Indiana, I'm not going to say, oh, it's just Indiana. I'm going to say, yeah, wow, I guess Ohio State proved me wrong. I admittedly pick Indiana because I think it makes this show a lot more interesting. But also because if they were to win, I could see a path. I could see, like, genuinely speaking.
You gave good points. You gave good points.
Genuinely speaking, I think that if Indiana pull, and I get this, but if I get that this is a big if, but if Indiana can pull an Appalachian State and knock off Ohio State like ASU did Michigan back in 2006, why not? It's happened before. It can happen again. They clearly are on a mission. They know what they want to do. And Ohio State is the only team that stands in their way at this point. So
there's
why
a big
not?
difference, Matt. There's a big difference. That Michigan team you're talking about that lost to Appalachian State was coming off a year where they were trying to go to the national championship. And they had a big letdown that year where I think they went, 6-7, 7-4. Like that was a bad Michigan team.
Didn't they get smacked by Oregon that year too?
They went 8-4.
I was there. It was fun to watch.
That's nice.
Dennis Dixon, Jonathan Stewart, boy, they did their thing.
All right, I want to go back to this question from John Jacobs. He says he's an IU fan. IU had difficulty keeping Michigan's defensive front seven off of Rourke in the second half. Question: is OSU's defensive front seven better or worse than Michigan's?
I'd say they're on par. Maybe, okay, it might be difficult to tell because, like, Michigan's defensive front is pretty clearly the best part of Michigan's defense. Ohio State's defensive front is not clearly the best part of Ohio State's defense because Ohio State's defense is just that good. So I think that they're probably about on par with maybe a slight advantage to Ohio State.
I'm gonna be honest, like Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant, they're like generational defensive lineman. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying that.
why not?
Because Kenneth Grant's not generational.
Because Garrison can't bring himself to say something nice about Michigan.
Did you see him chase down Katron Allen last season?
When Katron Allen tripped on a cut. Well, oh wait,
You didn't trip on a cut. He tracked him down. Katron Allen was in full sprint.
I can show you the clip.
I can show you the clip.
Well, here's my thing.
I can show you both the clip.
I
shut up. I can handle my own battles.
I had this conversation with someone not too long. I think it was this weekend. It was over. We were in a space, and there's a few. And I'll speak for myself.
Conversations is in space.
Shut up. But I'll speak for myself here. There's words in college football and sports in general, but specifically in college football, that we use too loosely. One of them is great and greatness. The other one is generational. The way that last week when you guys said that Jim Harbaugh is a generational coach, no, the heck he's not.
Yes, he
is. So when you say like a generational defensive tackle, then Ndamukong Suh is a generational tackle. You want to know oh yeah, but he was a lion. He was a lion though.
Yeah.
Or like,
and I thought he was a jerk, and I wanted him to leave.
Well, I'll ask this: who looks like as of right now this season? Who has been the better defensive player, Stewart or Big Boy? Why am I blanking on his name right now? I just said his name.
Kenneth Grant.
Kenneth Grant. Who's been a better player this year, Stewart or Grant?
Kenneth Grant.
No,
I'd say Stewart.
Stewart has been the best player on your defense this year. That's not innuendo. That's not conjecture. That is fact. He has been the best player on that defense this year.
They're all first-round picks, though. Don't get me wrong. They're all first-round picks.
They're all first-round picks. I think the difference is that Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham are carrying the defense, whereas Ohio State's Stewart has the benefit of the rest of Ohio State's defense being so good that, I mean, any offense that plays Ohio State has to account for everybody on Ohio State's defense. Any defense that any offense that plays against Michigan just has to worry about shutting down Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham, it's open season on the secondary.
But all right. I just don't like just throwing the word greatness and generational out as if things aren't required to be those things.
Yeah,
Will Johnson is a generational talent, and outside of his measurables, his football acumen, it shows on the stat sheet. It shows in his play. I have seen games when Kenneth Grant has to come off the field because he's too fat. He doesn't have the motor to continue. He's not Mason Graham. Mason Graham is not a generational talent. Why is Mason Graham not a generational talent? As smart as a football player he is, as much as I want my Dallas Cowboys to pick him up because we picked up some crappy Michigan defensive tackle a few years ago, I think that he's not generational. I think in order to be I'll tell you what generational is. Like Ndamukong Suh is generational is Jeremiah Smith,
Aiden Hutchinson.
No, he's not. Aiden Hutchinson's not generational.
Aiden Hutchinson beat Ohio State almost by himself.
Yeah, pretty much single-handedly. He was the difference maker.
I'm trying to. All right, I'm trying to. I don't know how to say this because like I'm saying this as someone who and I hate when guys do. But I'm so serious when I say because I love this sport so much, like you guys do. I'm saying this as someone who played this sport. Generational is not to be thrown around for just anybody.
You're right.
I've seen a lot of guys that are like Tegan Jr. is a freak. He had Olympic speed. That's I'm only saying Ohio State because I can speak to it, but that's generational. Guys like Braylon Edwards, that's generational. Those two guys are not generational to me. I think they are. I think I'm not. I don't really think Kenneth Grant is in Mason Graham is like league. I don't. I think Mason Graham is the best defensive tackle in college football, but that doesn't mean he's generational.
I would agree with that. I think when we talk about generational, it has to be week in, week out, like regular play.
Like
you guys remember that Nebraska versus Texas game with Ndamukong Suh? Do you guys remember that game?
No.
That Texas team was averaging over 40 points a game. Ndamukong Suh from the defensive tackle position single-handedly almost beat that team. At defensive tackle, Ndamukong Suh led his team in tackles. What defensive tackle does that? That's generational.
Mm-hmm. That is generational, yeah.
I got all passionate there. I'm all hot and sweaty. But I just Kenneth Grant being generational. I just can't. That's just
the fact that he's so fast. Do you see how fast he moves down the line in order to make the play? Like that's quick.
That's quick, not generational.
I'll split you the difference. He might not be generational, but he is really good. He is a very good defensive tackle.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Black 77. Who would have thought Brady was generational?
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Wow.
There you go. Yeah. Jeez. Come on, Dad.
Tom Brady was generational when he was at Michigan. Yeah, he was good. He broke records, but he wasn't the outstanding player that was being talked about nationally. He was sixth round in the draft pick.
And listen, I know a lot of Michigan fans. I know a lot of Michigan fans don't like to hear this, but it does help to the situation you go to. When Tom Brady went to the Patriots, they had a really good defense, had the best defenses in those years. People forget. In Tom Brady's first Super Bowl win, guess how many touchdowns he threw in the playoffs?
Not many, right? Yeah, okay. That's what I was thinking.
Well, that's not many.
That's not many. I was right.
Okay, wait a minute. We have some input from somebody in the chat. I don't know who this guy is or what he's thinking, but some guy named Exploring with Ben and Sam says, no, Indiana won't win the Big Ten. It's obviously the Ducks.
Oh,
you
no.
fools.
No, the boys of college football, Oregon.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I was kidding.
We know.
Get on here. Wait, I'm an idiot.
I was making a joke, Garrison. See, that's what
Garrison
we do.
just found the joke.
Garrison, would you call Travis Hunter generational?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, he is generational.
Oh yeah.
No, he's a jerk. Wait, no, I'm thinking of Deion's son. I can't remember.
Shader?
The one. Oh yeah,
Shader?
he's not. No.
What?
No.
Isn't that Shader? Deion's son is
Shader.
You said Shader.
This is not Shader.
He throws a lot of shade. He's a shader.
Yeah,
he does throw
that's
shade.
Good.
Yeah,
that's good. I like that one.
Yeah, Shader
like
Sanders.
No, I mean, you guys remember guys like
Hold on. Do you ever run into a guy in the Walmart parking lot who doesn't have all of his teeth?
No, I'm not a Michigan fan.
I don't know that was the burn you think it was.
In my head, it was.
Yeah. Speaking as someone who has a lot of really good burns in his head who don't translate to verbal, I think I don't think
in my head it came out quickly and it sounded good, but then I was like,
it's at first I was like, hey, maybe, but then I was like, wait, no, I think he just pulled a me. No, when you run into the guy in the Walmart parking lot who doesn't have any teeth, Shader Sanders, that guy. Yeah.
Sheboygan.
Oh man.
Darth Shader. Oh no.
Wait, did you say Sheboygan?
Yeah.
Wait, that's where my girlfriend's from, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, how dare you?
He's not wrong.
It's a nice town, a lovely port city.
A minute 18. I gotta clip this and show her.
That is an hour and 18. Also, ladies, if you're interested, Garrison is about to be single.
Yeah. All right, you guys want to get into some picks?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Sure.
Let's do some picks. Boom! The intro.
I love this show.
Boom, 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 boom.
All right, here's what we're looking for. I'm gonna change this up. Nobody panic because I'm agreed for a second. I'm sure. Yeah.
I can't hear you all. And why do you sound like you're underwater?
I don't know. It's the internet. Things happen.
I thought Bill Gates fixed the internet.
Whoops. You can't see the names on anybody. Hold on a second.
Well, we know which one's me because I have the most games called. So
Even those games. Exactly. So here we are. It's not through week 10. It's through week 11. Nobody does the checks on this. Nobody. Justin, who is not here right now, is sitting with the highest percentage of 82.93%. Rob, you're next.
That's crap.
With 82.76. Garrison, you're third with 79.49. And Mac, you're in last place. I'm sorry.
If any of you called the number of games that I have called, you would also be in the low 70s. So shut your face holes.
Shut your face.
I don't know, man. I'm on par for good records.
For good records.
Yeah.
All right. So this week we only have 3 ranked games. Several teams are on buys this week. I was kind of surprised at how many teams had a bye week at this point. Our first game, though, is Penn State at Purdue. And again, we're in a situation where it looks an awful lot like the ranked teams are just going to destroy their opponents. That's just how the schedules roll at the end of the season. But Penn State is sitting at number 6. The BCS comes out tomorrow, or not the BCS. Wow. I just fell backwards a few years. The CFP.
You just fell backwards like
a few
15 years.
Yeah.
Jeez, dude.
Right now, Penn State is at number 6. They are 8-1, 5-1 in the conference. Purdue
Back when he was a kid and the BCS was still around.
is 1-8.
I miss
0-6
the
in the
BCS.
conference. Purdue has yet to beat a Big Ten team. The spread is 28. The over-under is 49.5. Should we do the 30-second thing? There's only 4 of us.
I can give you 5 seconds.
Do the 30-second
Do the
thing.
30-second thing. Okay, Mac, are you
Good.
ready?
I'm ready.
And go.
Purdue sucks. Penn State 45-0.
26 seconds left.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about, kids.
45-0, you said?
Yeah.
All right. Justin said he might send in his picks, but he hasn't done that yet. Oh, Peter did send in his picks.
That's not fair. Peter can do it. If Justin sends in his picks, no, just he takes L's on all of them.
Peter has Penn State at 33, Purdue at 7. Rob, are you ready?
Yep.
And go.
No more spoiler makers. I have Penn State at 35, Purdue nothing.
23 seconds left. Nice. Did you say 45 or 35?
35.
35.
There's clearly no love for Penn State's offense
35
on this
nothing.
show. I can't even.
Harrison, are you ready?
Yes.
And go.
In the words of the great poet Mac, Purdue do. Penn State 40, Purdue 0.
22 seconds left. Oh, you guys are killing it. All right, Ben did not send me his picks, so we're just going to put the slashes in here. Oh, I forgot to mention to anybody in the chat, if you want to throw your picks in the chat, I will put them up, and we will compare and see how we're doing. I got to point out, too, last week, let's see, Rob, Peter, and Garrison all called a shutout for Ohio State over Purdue, and obviously you were all right. That's the way it goes. Just a quick question, too. A little discussion here on this game, even though it's probably just going to be a bloodbath. I hate to pick on Purdue, which is not really true, but I've read that Ryan Walters is expected to get more time with Purdue, but you have to ask at that point, how serious is Purdue about football if they're willing to let this go on?
Isn't it Ryan Walters' second year, though?
They're a basketball school, so.
I think he should get at least 2 more years. I mean, I think it's very important that some programs remember who they are.
Oh, that's right.
That sounds so arrogant. I know. It sounds arrogant from a Buckeye fan, but
I wouldn't have expected anything else.
Like my dad used to say this about Michigan State. Sometimes you just need to look down your jersey and remember who you are. And Purdue needs to do the same thing. Level your expectations.
It's rough, though, man. All right, our next game then is number 2, Ohio State. I got the numbers right here: 8-1, 5-1 in the conference, going up against Northwestern, 4-5, 2-4 in the conference. The spread is 31 points. I was kind of surprised that. I thought it would be higher. I think the spread of Ohio State over Purdue was, isn't it 48? thought it was 48 last week.
35.
Was it really only 35?
Mm-hmm.
Only?
Hey. So the over-under is 45.5. Mac, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
Watch out for Jack Lausch. Broham has 5 whole touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He's going to have 6 by the end of this game. Give me Ohio State 45-0.
Ooh, 10 seconds left. Nice job.
Thank you.
I forgot to point out, since we like to talk about historical records here, in my lifetime, Northwestern has beaten Ohio State twice.
Oh, twice. I thought it was going to be 0.
They beat them in 1971, which is the year I was born, and 2004. So maybe this is the year. You never know.
I remember that game. Didn't they beat them 2004 in overtime?
Yeah.
Was it overtime?
Yeah, it was overtime.
Suck.
Peter is calling this one 42-7.
I don't know how I feel about that. They're not on the show. Why do they get to put in their picks?
Because
of course, I guess
he sent
Peter's
them
the
to
only
me,
one.
And I mean, he's been on the show regularly. So
Are you trying to silence the people?
Yeah, we believe in censorship on this show. If you're not on the show,
Mac is very authoritarian.
I am.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we can make that joke on YouTube, but either way,
I was gonna tell Cliff. He said bloodbath. You can't go around saying that anymore.
Oh yeah,
you can't say bloodbath.
You know, that makes me think of the Last Action Hero joke. When I say there's a bloodbath, there is a bloodbath.
There's a bloodbath.
Rob, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, go.
Yeah, so that 2004 game, I think Lydell Ross was the running back, probably one of the worst running backs in Ohio State history. So, but give me Ohio State 50, Northwestern 0.
Ooh,
Man,
another shutout.
What a way to be remembered. Yeah, that running back was the worst in our school's history, and you know.
No, dude, it was him and Maurice something.
Maurice Hall?
Maurice Hall. God awful running backs. Trash.
No, it's funny because so John O'Corn posted on Twitter the other after the Indiana game this past weekend. John O'Corn, former Michigan quarterback, widely considered the worst quarterback in Michigan football history, and he posts on Twitter if you're wondering how bad things are in Ann Arbor right now, at least I went 2-0 against Indiana.
So
I reposted it and just died laughing. I was like, yeah,
I wasn't mad at him for that.
No, I'm not mad at him either. He's right.
Another funny quote from him. I remember when they were getting ready for the NFL draft. He says, "Yeah, NFL teams should look at me. I had to play tough games against that Ohio State defense, so I'm really well prepared." That was an actual quote for him too. Look it up.
I don't have an issue with that.
Keegan is calling 42-10. I assume Keegan is calling Ohio State 42-10, but you never know with Keegan. Keegan likes to shake things up once in a while.
Yeah, I should say too. John O'Corn was not throwing shade at the players. He tweeted again after that saying the way that the coaches are treating their players right now, the way that this team is being coached is not fair to the players. So he wasn't throwing shade at the players, but it's just really funny that he's not he wasn't very good. Seems like a nice guy though.
Seems like. All right, Garrison, are you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
All right, so the game is in Chicago, of course. Not your normal stadium. I just looked at it. It says that it should be around 9 to 15 miles per hour winds with a 20 mile per hour gust. I think that's probably going to go a little bit higher based on what I've seen this week in Michigan. I think I'm going to take Ohio State 38, Northwestern 3.
All right. Ooh.
Wait, so the game was at Wrigley, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I take it back. Northwestern 45, Ohio State 0.
Wait, what?
Are we locking that in, Mac? You
No,
know,
you
you're
know
at,
what? You know what?
73%,
Just to be safe.
you got 50 on it, Mac.
Just to be safe, why don't we keep Ohio State as the winner? But I wouldn't be shocked if this was an upset.
Oy. Now, okay, I know you guys hate it when I mention the word trap game or phrase trap game. Ohio State's next game is against Indiana. So is this a trap game?
No.
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 All right.
Indiana's the trap game.
Okay.
Davis Ward.
Game number 3. Number 1, Oregon, who is 10-0, 7-0 in the conference, undefeated across the board, goes up against Wisconsin, 5-4, 3-3 in the conference. Again, in the chat, if you have a call for this game, don't hesitate to put it in there. This is actually the 7th time Oregon and Wisconsin have played, and believe it or not, the series is sitting at 3-3. So Oregon finally has a chance to do something this season and get a winning record over Wisconsin. And
Is it a night game?
Oh, I don't know.
Because that's a big deal in Camp Randall. That's a big difference.
Yeah. Let us see here.
I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I don't care what that game could be at high noon. That's free money minus 14.
It is 7:30.
I think that I don't care. That minus 14 is free money.
Yeah, I don't understand these spreads at all. That seems like that spread should be a lot bigger than that.
And truth be, and I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mac. You go first.
Eric, you ready, Mac?
Sorry, I was just watching highlights of Detroit beating the Texans last night. Go Lions!
Turn the clock right now. Go.
Wisconsin sucks. Oregon 45-0.
Ooh, 26 seconds left. Nice job.
Is anyone noticing a pattern with my picks by chance?
What was that again? 45-0?
Yeah.
Wasn't that okay? You just wrote down 45-0 and didn't write down any other scores.
I didn't take no. These games are dumb.
45-0, 45-0.
Go to the next one.
Every one of your scores is 45-0. Peter called 42-7.
Because at this point, the score doesn't matter. I just want to make sure I get into the win column so that you guys will stop giving me crap for 73% correct percentage or whatever. Yeah.
Week 12 of the Big Ten, where the games don't matter and the points are made up.
It's a passing grade. None of you have called even close to the number of games I've called, and yet you're crapping on me for 73% win percentage.
Mine would still be higher than 73.
Yours would not be higher than 73. You're full of crap.
The percentage says so.
Currently.
Percentages here, we've got Garrison's at 79.49. Mac is at 73.58.
How many games has Matt called?
Add another 14 games, and that percentage comes down to 73%.
We'll check in my next 14 games then.
All right.
It's not the same 14. Whatever. We'll do this again next season, and you're all going down.
Keegan is calling this one 42-17, I assume for the Ducks. That makes the most sense. Rob, you are up. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
30 seconds on the clock. Go.
So this is night game at Camp Randall. A lot of close games have happened there against top-ranked teams. So I think Wisconsin keeps us close for a little bit, but I have them. I have Oregon winning 35-22.
22. All right. How did you get to 22?
All right, make it 23. Make it 23.
23.
No. Wait, no.
No.
Touchdown, field goal, safety.
All right.
Yeah.
No,
All
touchdown, field goal, safety. Yeah.
Okay.
Boom.
Yeah, sure. Let's keep it.
There we go. All right. Garrison, are you ready?
Yeah.
And go.
You guys ever seen a pit bull in a Oregon 40, Wisconsin 10?
Ooh.
What were you gonna say about the pit bull?
I say you ever seen a pit bull in a miniature poodle?
Not for long, no.
No.
That's pretty sight.
So I realize Wisconsin is not putting up the numbers that Indiana has, but does Wisconsin have any chance of upsetting the Ducks this weekend?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right, how
Oh.
so? What do they have to do?
I don't know. Do whatever Purdue and Iowa did at Ohio State. Do that, but you got a chance. I mean, look, it's college football, man. These are. I mean,
What?
I think-
okay. No, I'm not going to let this slide. This is ridiculous, and this needs to be called out now.
Okay.
Wisconsin has a shot against Oregon, but Indiana's going to get dog walked by Ohio State.
Yes. Listen. If
I would say that what Wisconsin has in favor of them is it's Camp Randall at
it's
night.
Camp Randall at night. That's Max. That's the only reason
That's
why
it.
I'm saying
I don't
it's a chance.
care. They suck. Tyler Van Dyke is out for this season. You're full of crap.
No, well, I'm not full of crap. I said 40-10.
That's the
Oregon.
only thing they have going for them is Camp Randall at night. That's about it.
Yeah, the only thing. Yeah, but
Thank you, Keegan.
Keegan, how could you turn on
Keegan
me, my man?
agrees. All right, folks, those are your picks for week 12. That's week 12, right? Yeah, the best picks.
You
in
guys
all
are
of
going
college
to do Michigan
football.
versus the bye week?
Yeah, I was just thinking that I'm gonna pick the bye week and the spread.
Man.
So I'm gonna pick the bye week because Kurt Campbell's playbook for the next game is gonna be C+, D-, and then Wink Martindale being stubborn through that bye week. So that's another D performance. So I'm gonna pick the bye week.
Can I ask you two a question?
I really wish I
son-
could have
son
seen
and father?
that coming. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Because I want I'm very curious about your guys' take on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, Cliff, so you've seen the episode already. So you saw Bryce and I's conversation about Sharon Moore.
Yep.
Mac, have you seen it yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay, so basically, Bryce said he still has hope. Not hope. He still believes in Sharon Moore being the head coach at Michigan. And he didn't have many reasons for it, but I respect his opinion, of course. But what I brought up to him was that for months on end now, and I brought up what he said about the team before the season. I brought up about him saying he had a plan for Alex Orji, and clearly he didn't. I brought up him saying the Divas could be better than last year. He's nowhere near that. I brought up about the last two games and how he uses challenges, his play calling, the staff he's hired. And I simply just said he's over his steez, and this is not a job for him. And I harkened back to our conversation on the show, to where I told you guys I don't think Lou Fickell is a big time college football head coach. I'm sorry, Rob. What? I'm sorry.
Those two names as you're talking about Sharon Moore, though Luke Fickell came up as well. I'm just like, the only difference is Sharon Moore won his audition with the championship, didn't win the audition when he took over.
Yeah.
For that time. So that's the only difference. But Sharon Moore had the audition with a championship built team by Harbaugh. And it's told me that Moore was a part of that building as well. In a way he was, but not at the level that Harbaugh had in it.
Yeah, and so my question for you two is, where are you guys now in the Sharon Moore conversation as the head coach of the University of Michigan? Because I like I said, Mac, I just don't believe he should be the president of a program like that.
I think he needs an associate head coach. I think that he needs some wiser folks on the sidelines with him. I think, and I mentioned this in the Voice of College Football video that we recorded earlier, which will be out tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. if anyone's interested. I think Wink Martindale's performance over the last couple of weeks earned him one more year, which might be blasphemy to Michigan fans right now, but I think that that's the case. I think holding this Indiana team to 20 points is not a easy task, and he did it with a fairly depleted roster. That being said, I think Kurt Campbell has to go or be demoted. Kurt Campbell is very good with the quarterbacks if he doesn't mind taking that role back over and letting someone a little bit better, maybe a little bit wiser than him on the offense take over the offensive play calling. I think Sharon Moore can still be the man for the job if he has the right coaches underneath him. Until that happens, though, the jury's out.
I don't know about Wink Martindale getting. I was skeptical of the guy since the beginning. I don't like what I've seen from him. You can't. I mean, sure, you can use Indiana as the eye test, but it's yet to be seen if Indiana is actually really that good. And for that, Ohio State's going to be the eye test. And maybe, Indiana doesn't do that well. Maybe that will change your guys' mind as well. But, there's a so I honestly think the game has left Martindale behind. I really do. And we've talked about this before. It's left behind a number of coaches who are trying to make a comeback. I don't see Mac Brown lasting much longer at North Carolina. There's a reason why Chip Kelly's offensive coordinator coach role, he tried to make his comeback at UCLA. The game left him behind. He can't do the Oregon duck ball anymore. So I think he's just been. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. The game is left him behind.
I think what the last 2 weeks have showed us about Wink is that he's at least, like Keegan here said, he's at least starting to adjust. And I feel like if he doesn't have a secondary that's completely depleted, then maybe his scheme will work a little bit better. I still think that he needs to adjust some of his coverages. I think that he needs to stop blitzing as much as he does. I think that Michigan just doesn't have the talent in the secondary and then at the corners to run the type of defense that he wants to run. Now, one of two things can happen in the future. Then he can either get the talent necessary to run the defense that he wants to run and it goes well, or it's just not a good defense. And Rob, you're exactly right. College football's left him behind. I personally think that the jury is still out. I was impressed with the performance against Indiana. I was honestly impressed with the performance against Oregon. I think Michigan was in that game going into the fourth quarter because of the defense. It was 2 scores. Yeah, it wasn't likely for sure, but it was 2 scores. And I think we were all expecting that game to be over by halftime. And it wasn't. So I think that the last couple of weeks have earned him one more year. I just think that Kurt Campbell's play calling is just way too sus.
Also, can I address Keegan's?
Big Ten is hilarious. I like that.
Will Johnson will probably be back for OSU. That's his comment. I think Will Johnson's gonna make his money. He realizes that in the NFL, and it's okay. It's okay if he shuts it down. The man has deserved to be able to shut it down. He owes Michigan nothing more. Won a national championship with them, was a big part of it. Pretty much considered a 3-year starter. Got a lot of significant play time as a freshman. The best cover corner in all of college football. If he wants to shut it down, the man has every right to, and that's just what I see. I think he shut it down. He's had a lot of injuries this season. Maybe didn't he have some last season? Just like one.
I don't, it was like minor stuff.
I think it was minor if he was out, or I don't think he was out.
I feel for them, being told, oh, probably come back, because there was a time when we thought, Jackson Smith-Njigba was going to come back, and he just never came back, and that's okay. He's going to go make his money. Will Johnson's draft stock can't get much higher. It's as high as it's going to be. So why ruin a great thing? So.
Yeah, I personally would not blame him if he sat out the Ohio State game, and he still might. But yeah, I wouldn't blame him for that. I think his draft stock is too high. I think Michigan's clearly rebuilding. It's, whatever.
So not to bash Michigan. So
no, please do.
Yeah,
you guys, I'm gonna be nice, okay? Because so if this is considered a rebuilding year, what the heck is next year gonna be? Because you're losing that first round talent on defense. Colson Loveland's going to be gone. So what is the possibility of next season being better or maybe even worse than this season? I mean,
I don't know.
I gotta go soon. I gotta go now. I am definitely gonna listen to the response on this question. And I will hold you accountable, Mac, for whatever you say.
Oh my! Hang on. Before you go, Dad, can you pull up what I just sent you on Telegram? I just need to get.
Oh, jeez.
Actually,
All right.
we just saved that question for next week.
Wait, hey, sorry, go. I'm sorry.
Why don't we save the question for next week and we can talk about that for a whole segment? Because I think that's a really good question, Rob.
So you don't want me to pull up this picture?
No, I want you to pull up the picture.
Oh, all right.
We need, that's
whoa, what's the picture?
Prepare yourself. Of course, it's really not that big of a dig.
By the way, Indie Nation, if I was you, I would trademark Sig 10 and put it on a T-shirt. That I didn't even think of that. That's cool.
Or your own brand of cigarettes.
and then as a sponsorship on the Big Ten Rivalry Show.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you know where to buy your premium cigarettes. Sig 10.
If you can't find them, Google them.
Google them. Cigarettes fit for a champion.
Here we go. Oh yeah, I think I got it.
Oh my God. Hey, you know what? That's okay, because you know what? Not everybody's meant to coach in the NFL, but they're great college football coaches, and he was a great college football coach. Same as Nick Saban. He wasn't meant to be in the NFL, came back, and now he's the greatest of all time.
Nick Saban would have been fine in the NFL had their how'd the story go? Their health person, whatever you call them, their doctor, didn't clear Drew Brees to draft him, so they let him go by, and that would have changed though. If Drew Brees didn't go, him not going to Miami with Nick Saban changed the whole landscape of the NFL and college football. Changed the whole landscape. But I do want to say this.
Wait a minute, Drew Brees played for Purdue.
No, but all right. So when he was coming out to the NFL, Nick Saban wanted to draft him. The higher ups for the Miami Dolphins and the doctor at the Miami Dolphins didn't clear him off this injury, so they wouldn't draft him. They found Drew Brees undraftable, so they passed on him.
Okay.
Whoops.
But by the way, ex-Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer named worst coaching hire in NFL history. Jim Harbaugh still has never beaten that man in his life.
That is true.
I seem to recall Jim Harbaugh being a fairly good college coach and now a fairly good NFL coach, though. So you want to talk about generational.
Lloyd Carr beat him.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Wait. Whatever.
Yeah.
He did.
Florida, yeah.
He did. Okay, yeah.
That was a down year for Florida, but he did it.
Oh, wait a minute. No, you didn't.
Let's end the show. I'm tired and I need to go to bed.
All right. Garrison, you said you had to get going. Let me put up your thing here again. You guys have a what do you call it? A landmark show coming up here. Episode 100?
Yeah, man.
When's that coming out?
Wednesday. It'll be out Wednesday night, episode 100. Really happy about it.
Nice.
Again, it's really cool, man. I mean, I remember last year, Bryce hit me up randomly, asked if I wanted to do this with him, and I told him yeah. And really happy, really blessed to do that with one of my best friends in the world. Really happy that we could bring these conversations that we've had since middle school to everyone. I mean, Bryce, he's that little douchebag friend of mine 2 houses down that came in 2011 and put a Michigan flag in my dad's yard. So, and so no, it's really cool, and really happy about it. Really thankful for all the people that we have in our community here at the Scarlet Blue Show, and really happy that you being on here has helped us grow also, and it's awesome, dude. It's really awesome. So I appreciate you guys for it too.
It's honestly a huge compliment to us because we almost quit last year. So,
oh, dude, I mean, you guys are a great channel, and to be honest, and just to toot the horn for a second, it's really cool to see a bunch of other people come out with Ohio State, Michigan shows after we do it.
I know. Yeah.
And I'm not mad about it. I know some of these people. I think it's cool, and I totally encourage it. I just want the flowers.
I just want them to stay off our turf. Those are our subs. You stay away from them.
You know who the first you know who the first people were to do it? Jake Butt and what's his nuts? Jonathan Perry.
Yeah,
the red and
corner, blue corner
show. Yeah, well, good grief, dude. Good grief.
Yeah.
What a terrible show name. Now it's done with.
Good.
I was trying to find out from people, how do I sue their pants off?
There you go.
But no, everyone, sorry, Clay.
I was going to say thank you very much for being on the show. Thank you very much for your service. And
Thank you.
What were you going to say?
No, first off, you can find Bryce. You can find Bryce at Bryce R. Sack on X, and myself at Buckeye_Gaddy. You can also find us at Scarlet and Blue Show on YouTube, and Scarlet Blue Show on any social media that includes Facebook, Instagram, and X. And yeah, man, again, to all my brothers and sisters in arms, I'm very appreciative of you guys. Thank you for what you've done for this country. My great grandfather, appreciate you. My Uncle Willie, love you. My cousin McKeithen, rest in peace, man. But yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Take care.
You too.
Rob. Let's see here. I've got
Beat
your
that sign off.
Yeah. So Rob, how are things going on your show now that you guys are on opposite ends of the country?
It's going good. You know, we're still trying to make things work. I may have to go live a couple times by myself, so you know it'll be the first time ever. So
you get to control the narrative.
Definitely get to control the narrative. But yeah, it's come January, February will be a year since Peter and I came up with the idea. He came to me like, hey, do you want to so I have this channel, Buckeyes Battle Cry. Do you want to join me on it? And we'll start to grow the channel. We'll put videos out and stuff. So yeah, it's come January, February, be a year since we've been doing that. So I know how long did you guys do your show before you're like, oh, maybe we should quit or whatever, and then like the sign gate happened.
So like at this time last year. Well, so at this time last year, I think we were at, well, actually, we started to do better. I think we were at about 500 subs this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so if you go to like the beginning of the 2023 season, we had, I think, 80 subs. So we skyrocketed over the last year. And yeah, actually, a lot of it was because of the drama around Signgate. We had, like we've said, we had one video that shot up to like 21,000 views. It's our only video that ever has. The rest of them, I think we average, I don't know, 400 or 500. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was funny because I think it was, what game was it that we were going to?
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green. So we were going to the Michigan Bowling Green game, and so as we found out, we both were thinking that maybe we didn't want to do this anymore because it was like we weren't getting any traction, and it was like, why are we doing these videos that like 5 people watch and we're related to all of them? And so I was thinking in my head, I thought Mac was really enjoying it. So what I said to him was, "How are you feeling about the channel?" And Mac was talking it up. He goes, "No, I think we're doing fine and all that, and we'll be okay." And then so I was like, okay, so in my head, I'm like, okay, so Mac still wants to do this, so I'll stick it out. And then I don't remember what it was, like a week later, Mac tells me, he goes, when you asked me that, I was actually thinking about quitting. And I went, yeah, when I asked you that, I was actually thinking about quitting. So we were both thinking about quitting, but we didn't want to disappoint the other one, so we kept going. And then it started to take off. So
and then Signgate happened.
Yeah.
And then we hit, from Bowling Green, we had 80 subscribers. And then after the Michigan State game, we hit 500. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, if you guys have any pointers on how Peter and I can, grow our channel and get more traction with our videos,
check out, I think we both would endorse vidIQ.
Yeah.
Check out the vidIQ channel and just devour it. They've got tons of good ideas, and it's actually really good, actionable information.
Wait, what is it?
VidIQ, VIDIQ.
Okay.
That's their channel. And
Yeah.
they've got a ton of good stuff on there.
Rob, I can hit you and Peter up on Twitter too, just to kind of show you everything that we use with vidIQ and all that too. So yeah.
Gotcha. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
You
have,
guys have come a long way. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I saw your show back before we ever had you guys on. I saw your channel, and I think you guys were both just using your phones for microphones and video, and it was kind of choppy. But you guys knew your stuff, so it was interesting to watch. And now you guys have come a long way. I think you guys will do fine.
Yeah. You guys are really good.
Consistency is a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But all right, you guys, I love coming on the show. You know, hope you have Peter and I on even after the season ends. You know, for
yes.
You know, talk about what's going on in the off season or what the next season is going to look like. So
absolutely,
you know, it's a blessing to be able to be on here. So
yeah, we love having you guys on. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, definitely
really appreciate it. Anything? Did I already ask you that? Anything in particular coming up?
In terms of
the channel, any special stuff? Are you going to do any kind of because I mean, if Ohio State gets to the Big Ten championship, are you guys going to do a special episode of any kind? Or
yeah, we'll come up with something. I know we're trying to be more active with the channel. So, you know, what we were thinking about doing is, we've been putting out videos as well, like a reaction to the games from Saturday. We put that out on Sunday, but I may go down I may try to go down to Indy and get some footage of, you know, Ohio State's down there, interview some people. So I know I got a lot of traction especially on TikTok, when I was down the sideline for Penn State, Ohio State, and I got a video in like before the game and then after. So I think that being able to be there and get that content, that's a game changer, and people love to see that. So, but for some reason, it's not getting that as much traction I thought it would on YouTube. So I guess TikTok and YouTube, their algorithms are different.
Yeah.
So
it's tough to hit. Like I said, we've had them where we do one video one day and it hits, you know, it jumps up to 2,000, and then the next video we put out hits, I don't know, 100. It's just weird like that. I don't know.
And you better believe during Michigan week, we'll be doing a lot of videos. A lot of videos.
Awesome. Well, we'll be looking for them then.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Rob. Thank you much for being on. We will see you next week.
All right, definitely. See you guys.
All right, take care.
See you, Rob.
All right.
Awesome. Another great show.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Don't forget to check out the teamrivalry.com website, where you can check out the rivalries of all your favorite Big Ten teams. There's a lot of data on there. We've got all the data from the Big Ten. Still working on the USC. I got to get the rest of the data on there, but there is a page where you can check out the rivalries, how teams have played each other, the series, and all of that. Also, check out Michigan Football Channel at the Voice of College Football. You can see our show, Point a Minute, as Mac pointed out. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. is when that comes out. And we will be talking about, on that video, Sharon Moore, what his future looks like, if there is a future. Also, lots of great content from John Diadamo and TJ. They have shows Tuesday night and Thursday night. Fantastic stuff. Those guys know their stuff, too. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but most importantly, join us next Monday night right here on YouTube at 8 p.m., where we will be live and hitting more questions. We just gave you a preview of one of the questions we're going to do next week, plus Week 13 picks. Hopefully all the guys will be back. Everybody will be back in their correct time zones and healthy. And we'll be able to do that show. Mac, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I hope, Justin, if you're watching, hope you feel better about your Texans.
Justin, also in the service.
Sorry.
Thank you very much for Justin.
Oh, yes. Thank you for your service.
Appreciate that.
Really appreciate that, yeah. Otherwise, no, I'm good. Michigan should beat the bye week, so
we can always hope. As long as nobody gets injured.
Oh, boy.
All right, that's going to do it for us, folks. Thank you very much for watching and subscribing and chatting. Have a good week, and we will see you next Monday. And enjoy football this weekend. Mac, take us out.
This is the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
ball.